So check this. In the heart of the city, Maya thrived as a marketing director. Her days were filled with back-to-back meetings, urgent deadlines, and endless emails. Sis was good at her job, exceptional even. She dotted every I and left no stone unturned. But lately, the weight of it all had begun to press down on her chest like a stone. Her boss, Mr. Harrison, had grown increasingly demanding.
Maya, I need those reports by end of day.
He'd bark, his face red with frustration.
And the client presentation better be perfect this time.
Each criticism felt like a blow, and Maya would nod, smile, and swallow the anxiety rising in her throat. The panic attacks started small, a racing heart during meetings, sweaty palms before presentations, insomnia at night, maximizing and feeling afraid that the worst would happen to her or her family. But she pushed through, because that's what she always did. That's what her mother and grandmother did. She was raised to be strong. She didn't have a strong support system that was non-judgmental. She often had to hear her mother's criticisms about her choices and the way she raised her children. She couldn't let anyone see her struggling. She didn't have the time for a breakdown because so many depended on her. But home was no refuge. Maya would walk through her front door to find chaos. Toys scattered across the living room, dishes piled in the sink, and laundry overflowing from baskets. Her two children, 7-year-old Zoe and 9-year-old Marcus, would rush to her with homework questions before she could even set down her bag. "Mom, I don't understand this math problem," Marcus would say, shoving a worksheet in her face. "Mom, I need poster board for my project tomorrow," Zoe would add. And Maya would feel the pressure building, the exhaustion settling into her bones. Her brother, Michael, would also call asking to borrow her car or a few dollars. Sometimes he even requested to sleep on her couch when he was between girlfriends. One evening, it all became too much. Marcus had spilled juice on his homework. Zoe was crying about a friend at school, and the kitchen was a disaster. "Shut the hell up," Maya shouted, her voice cracking. "You all are driving me crazy. I don't know how much more I can take. I can't be everything to everyone." The silence that followed was deafening. Her children stared at her with wide eyes, and Maya felt the shame wash over her. She was supposed to be the strong one, the one who held it all together. But she was breaking, and she didn't know how to stop it. That night, after the kids were asleep, Maya sat alone in the dark and cried. She knew something had to change. She couldn't keep living like this, running on empty, pretending everything was fine when it wasn't. The next day, Maya made a decision. She hired a sitter, a kind older woman named Claire who came highly recommended. It felt like an indulgence, like admitting defeat. But Maya knew she needed help, and there was no shame in asking for it. With Claire watching the kids, Maya drove to a community center across town. She'd heard about the Mocha Moms group from a colleague, a gathering of Black mothers who met weekly to support one another. Maya had been hesitant at first, worried about being judged or seen as weak, but desperation had a way of pushing past pride. When she walked into the room, she was greeted by warm smiles and welcoming faces. Women of all ages sat in a circle, some with coffee cups, others with notebooks. "Welcome," said a woman named Robin, her voice gentle. "We're so glad you're here." Maya sat down, and for the first time in months, she felt herself exhale. As the women shared their stories, struggles with work, family, mental health, Maya realized she wasn't alone. These women understood. They'd been where she was. They'd felt the same crushing weight, the same impossible expectations. "I thought I had to be perfect," Maya admitted, her voice shaking. "I thought asking for help meant I was failing." The women nodded, and one of them, a mother named Keisha, reached over and squeezed her hand. "You're not failing, baby. You're human, and you're brave for being here." In that moment, surrounded by women who saw her, really saw her, Maya felt something shift. The shame began to lift, replaced by a sense of belonging. She didn't have to carry this burden alone. She didn't have to pretend to be superhuman. Over the following weeks, Maya continued to attend the Mocha Moms meetings. They pointed her to the Black Girl Healing Project, and together they read and worked through the book, The Black Girl's Guide to Healing Emotional Wounds. She learned coping strategies for her anxiety, set boundaries at work, and started free therapy. She wasn't perfect, and there were still hard days, but she was no longer drowning. The support of the Mocha Moms group became her lifeline. They celebrated her victories, held space for her struggles, and reminded her that she was worthy of care and compassion. Through the Black Girl Healing Project, she learned coping strategies for her anxiety, set boundaries at work, and started free therapy. Reading the Black Girl's Guide to Healing Emotional Wounds and joining the Black Girl Healing Project gave her resources she can lean on during her tough days. Maya had spent so long taking care of everyone else that she'd forgotten to take care of herself. Mental health struggles are elevated within the Black community, and the pressure to be strong along with Black tax can be a trap. But there is power in vulnerability, in community, in knowing you don't have to face it alone. For Maya, the Mocha Moms group and the Black Girl Healing Project was more than just a support system. It was a reminder that she mattered, that her well-being mattered, and that she deserved to be cared for just as much as she cared for others. And that made all the difference. For more details, visit the website, The Black Girl's Guide to Healing Emotional Wounds.com.